Red beans and rice is one of my favorite home style dishes there is. There's something about just a warm bowl of red beans and rice that just gets the soul feeling good. But most people cannot get the comfort in the comfort food. Today, we're making red beans and rice. Now, I have a simple question for you before we get started, real quick. Is this a side or is this an entree in your house? I find this topic very fun. Quite often in restaurants, it is either an entree or a side. What is it in your house? Is this a side component to another dish, or is this your main dish for dinner? For us, this is our main dish for dinner. We get some of our homemade hot sauce. We dabble that around. And then it's time. Some good old-fashioned. This is one of my favorite dishes of the South. And it's, again, sometimes you see it as a side, sometimes you see it as an entree. Me, I like to enjoy it as an entree. It is kind of like a heavy item, but it just warms the soul. We talk about the depths of comfort food. This is the dish that brings all the comfort, all the love. And when you have somebody who makes it right, man, it just hits the spot. So to get started, we're gonna need to add in just a little bit of fat just to kind of help us get the game rolling. I'm fortunate here that we have our own lard that we grow. So I kind of have a little bit of a cheat code, but oil works nice. I would not use butter just because butter is going to burn a little too fast because we need to caramelize our sausage. Now this is a local sausage. Again, we're keeping this Mississippi style. So this is country pleasing. It's actually just in the town next door over to us. This is the Cajun andouille. So it's got some nice smoke notes to it. It's got a little bit of spice to it, and it's gonna really amplify the flavor. So I like to cook this inside of the base. And what we're doing is we're extracting all that smoky and flavor out of that sausage, and that's ultimately gonna end up in the broth that we cook all of the red beans in. All right, we're starting to see great color on this sausage. We don't want to overcook it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start layering in our different flavors. So first things first, it's our onions, our peppers, and we're actually gonna put a pretty good amount of color on them. In my opinion, color, 99% of the time, color equals flavor. So we're actually going to caramelize these in the pan. Now what could happen is that when you're caramelizing that sausage, especially if you're like a stainless steel pan, is that you'll get a bunch of fond and everything on the bottom. What you do is you'll add in your, sweat your peppers and onions, and then you spend time scraping the bottom and getting all that fond off the bottom because of that moisture content coming out of the onions. If that doesn't work, you can also add a little couple drops of water or stock to kind of help it along. So we're starting to get color on our peppers and onions, starting to look great. Again, I'm going to start to add in our garlic. We're going to continue to sweat this for a second. Now I'm going to start to do something very different than what many of my peers do. So many of my peers, they'll go ahead and add in the stock and they start to add in dry seasonings into this mix. The problem is when we do that, we're really limiting the value of our spices. So dry spices, in my opinion, I feel like it's proven through Indian cuisine, if I really had to tell you where I take inspiration from, is bloomed in the oil. And so that fat and that oil coats the seasoning. And so when we add it, basically what it does is it distributes that seasoning into that oil. And then again, as we add in our liquid into that, which is pork stock, it's going to distribute more evenly and more flavorful through the stock. So this is Cajun seasoning. I reuse these containers. This is Cajun seasoning. We make our own mix here at the house. Pretty generous portion. Now we'll add more in a little bit. That first layer, I kind of want to build in. Add just a little bit more. And from there, some salt and pepper. But as it go from the oils over into the stock that we're using, the beans themselves are gonna have no flavor. So to impact and give it the most flavor possible, we need that broth to be just jam-packed full of flavor. I'm gonna start adding in stock. Sorry for all the ruckus in the background. I'm guessing one of the hens is laying an egg for us. And she's having a fit over there. But we're gonna start adding in our pork. You could use chicken stock very easily. My opinion, I like pork stock or ham base in here. I have this available again. I grow pigs. So every time we break down pigs, we take all those bones and make pork stock. So again, it's kind of a way that we can kind of keep using up the product. So I'm gonna add this in. So we're gonna start bringing this up to a simmer. It doesn't have to be at a full rolling boil before we added our red beans, but let's talk about our red beans. So there's a couple different ways to do the red beans. You could go from completely dry like we're doing today. In a perfect world scenario, I would prefer to soak these overnight. I've been on the road all week doing the chefy duties, so I have not been here to pre-soak these. But in a perfect world, you would pre-soak these in water. And then between me and you, it's an old wives' tale, you know, old man wives' tale. In that water, if you take a raw potato, peel it, put it down in the potato, supposedly it helps you, you know, with your flatulence, if you will, to say it properly. And so it's a great way to kind of take out that, I guess it's an amino acid or whatever it is. I'm not out and brown, but it takes away one of the compounds that soaks into that. And so it makes it a little bit easier on your stomach for those who are bean sensitive. That's essentially the way to kind of cheat it. Going from straight dry, these are going to take a little bit longer. It does take off about 15-20 minutes when you pre-soak as well. So if you know you're making them the day before, heck man, get them pre-soaked. You could just wrap them up, set them right on your counter. They're not gonna hurt anything. They're not gonna go bad if they're left out overnight. All right, so I'm almost at a simmer. We do not want to mound this up. This is all going to start soaking in water. I've made the mistake many of times in my day of just dumping in a whole bunch of beans because I'm super hungry. Like right now, I am absolutely crushed, starving. But we don't want to do that because as this soaks up water, this is going to start to rise up. And then from here, it's really just a waiting game. All we're going to be doing is bringing this up to a simmer. Make sure that you hit the like, you hit the subscribe. That like does an amazing amount of work for the show. That allows the YouTube to let people know that, hey, this guy, he's made a cool video. I need to share it with other people. If you have not yet, you can also subscribe. That way you don't miss out on all this amazing content from smoked meats, collard greens, cabbage. We're going to visit a crawfish farm. We are going and doing a lot. So to keep up with all that, make sure that you subscribe so it's sent right to your notifications every single week so you can see what we have going on here at Deep South Foodies. One thing I noticed that I did forget to mention, we're about 80% of the way done, but I put it in there. The camera's cut out. One thing we did add was just a little bit of Caribbean seasoning. This one is from Nomad. You can find this brand at most of your major retailers. If not, again, it's a great Amazon find. I'll make sure I leave a link in the descriptions down below so you do not miss out. This adds so much flavor. I like to add it to a couple different things from my barbecue seasoning. I've used it on chicken and pork. It's a great little spice mix to have. I just took 1 tablespoon and I added it into our red beans and rice. I apologize. Let's get back to the video though. So finally, it's that time to put our last finishing touches on our red beans. They are ready to go. They are super tender and man, they are looking fantastic. So Do got to do a couple things to help finish it out. So first things first, we're gonna, I like mine just partially pureed. I kind of like that texture. I do know people who like it like soupy. Soupy in my region of Mississippi is just not how it's done. It's partially pureed. So we're gonna get it partially pureed. What I mean like that is like we're really gonna put it in a stick blender and go bzz, bzz, and it's gonna be done. Yes, that is the official sound effect too, by the way. Bzz, bzz. If you don't want to have one of these, it's one of my favorite kitchen gadgets. They're not very expensive either. They have different attachments, like you can have the whip. There's, of course, this. So if you don't have a stick or immersion blender, as some call it, it's a great kitchen gadget to have. They're very inexpensive. I'll have a link down below. That is to an affiliate link. If you don't mind, it's a great way to help support the channel. It doesn't cost you any extra. But all you gotta do, a little blend around until you get the right texture that you're looking for. That's it. Again, I'm not wanting it to be super pureed. It's looking great. Let's give it a taste. Let's do that first here. Ooh, that's super good. So for my preference, it needs just a little bit of heat and just a drop more of salt. To bring the heat, got a nice, beautiful, delicious hot sauce. This is something that I make. This was made from yellow habaneros. Oh, that smells good. Off the farm last year. Add just a couple dollops. If you ever wanted to make, learn how to make hot sauce, it's super easy. It's a great way to kind of flex on some folks at the barbecue. Again, descriptions will be here down below. Try to give you as much information as possible on all the things that we're doing. But for now, let's finally get this bad boy plated up. Into the center. Let's get a dollop of rice on top. Get out of there. Just because we're feeling a little fancy, get a little green onion on there. And there you have it. A delicious, super beautiful, elegant, easy red beans and rice at your next family gathering. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments down below. I do my absolute best to respond to every comment down below. Until next time, click over here for an in-depth video on how we made this rice. Rice is super beautiful, it's delicate, it's delicious, but so many people do it wrong. So make sure you watch over this video over here to make sure that you are cooking rice correctly. Stop just dumping water on it, putting a lid on it, throwing it on high. Cook rice properly. That video's right here. If you're interested in seeing more videos like these, YouTube has selected some amazing videos for you right here that thinks that these would be best for you to see. Until next time, this is Deep South Foodies. We're super excited that you're here. Make sure you click on these videos right here.